Hey, welcome to Friday's Fitness Corner. This is Jeannine. We're at Studios Fitness and Dance in Wellesley. And this week I have decided to get the stability ball involved, and we're going to do some posterior chain work on the floor, on the mat with the ball. So I'm going to show you guys some progressive ways to move this exercise a little more difficult, or you can take it back and keep it a little easier. So I'm going to start lying on the floor, and I got my feet on the stability ball. Now, first thing I'm going to do is move the ball closer. So in doing this, what I have done is I've shortened the lever that's going to be working. So the ball is just kind of underneath the top portion of my calf. I'm going to put my hands onto the floor. My palms are going to be facing up. That's going to stop me from pushing into the floor to stop myself from rolling off the side. So I'm going to lift. And I want to feel my glutes engage, and my hamstrings are going to be engaging as well. I'm going to lower and lift, lower and lift, and lower and lift. Now, as you're lifting, don't just think about, ooh, I have to get my hips high up. You see how I arched and bowed here? That put the hinge into my low back, and if I were to continue all my reps like that, it would be trouble for me. It would be trouble for a lot of people. You don't want to be hinging at the lumbar. You want to be hinging at the hips. So think about pushing the feet into the ball in order to lift the hips. So it's a two-part job, and it makes everything actually easier in the long run. So first thing I'm going to do to make this a little tougher is I'm going to, as you can see, move the ball out a little bit. So now it's under maybe the lower portion of my calf, palms face up again, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift and lower here and really push my legs into the ball to get those hips lifted, feeling it even more intensely in the hamstring as well as the glute. So I'm going to extend it to the last position that we'll do for the day. So it's kind of under my heels now at this point. And now we're going to be talking about hand positioning as options to make this a little bit more challenging. Starting off with the palms facing up, I already notice that the lever length being longer has made the exercise more difficult. But now, see, I'm on this ball, and there's like a challenge here to not roll off the side. So having your hands down is a really easy way to stabilize. But what needs to be called on to stabilize, if those hands weren't in play, is the transverse. So we have the transverse muscle that goes around our core, kind of like a girdle. It holds all of the internal organs in place, keeps everything from going, which is really good, but it's kind of hard to engage. An easy way to find it is to cough. And you feel how this whole thing sort of tightens around, just to make a connection. It can help. So now we're on the floor, palms up, lower lift. Now, as I do this, I'm going to take my arms to the second position. So now the fingertips are to the ceiling. I have less of the arm on the floor to stabilize. Third position, I'm going to lift my arms up to the ceiling. Now, I got to say, I got this fairly quiet, so this is looking pretty uninvolved here as I continue. But what's happening is the transverse is kicking in, and it's keeping me from rolling off like that. So there's some control involved, and then there's some focus involved. So as you go through those different hand placements, think about what has to work, what has to kick on. It will get to the point where if you do this enough, if you challenge yourself like this enough, it's going to happen kind of without thinking about it, which is a really cool thing. So the second exercise we're going to do, I'm going to keep the ball further away, kind of under those heels and the calves, and we're going to lift up, palms up to the ceiling, arms are down here. This is going to be a tougher one for the arms to progress. I'm going to bring the knees in and extend, keeping everything really, really quiet except for the legs. Now, as I do this, the hamstrings are like, I love you so much for doing this exercise. I might even buy you like flowers and a candlelight dinner because it feels so good. No, it doesn't. It really, really burns behind the legs. But that's okay. That's what we're doing this for. But because we're bringing the ball in and out, right, that's going to be more disruptive with our transverse. So as I try to progress this, start with the palms down, get my mojo going here, get the fingertips up, keep trying. When you're ready, arms up, and you can see there's a little wobble side to side, try to do the full reps with the arms up. All right, so that's pretty cool. Now, if you have somebody who has a really hard time getting their hips up and your feet are on the ball, but you still want to get this exercise working, you can always keep the legs long, and I'm just going to keep my tush down, and I'm going to bring the knees in and out. Now, this is like a walk in the park until I make a concerted effort to start really pushing my heels into the ball, in which case this all turns on as well. But we've taken out the challenge of lifting the hips, all right? So that's another way to pull back and make the exercise a little bit easier. So you got 2 exercises with a bunch of different options thrown in. So see what you can do. Do your best. Let me know if this was helpful. Like and share. I'd love you to like and share. That would be great. And please stay tuned for next week when we're going to do something else for Friday's Fitness Corner, which will be fabulous because it'll be a Friday's Fitness Corner video. So it's always fun. Thank you guys so much. I'm Jeannine. We're at Studios Fitness and Dance in Wellesley, and we'll see you next week.